Hello, everybody. A warm welcome to Wisdom from North, another conversation. My name is Janica, and I have a very special person on the show tonight. Her name is Akiane Kramarik. She is an artist, and she is an internationally recognized prodigy, and has been creating artwork from age 4, and has gained worldwide attention. Her original masterpieces have been selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars, which makes Akiana the most successful living visual art prodigy in the world. Now, what is also very special about her spiritually based work is that she says that her talent is from a higher power and that she learned to draw and paint through self study and observation, but that God is primarily her teacher. Now, Akiana, I'm so honored to have you on my show, Wisdom from North. Much welcome, and thank you for taking the time.
Oh, thank you. It's going to be amazing, and I heard so much about you, and I'm so honored to be on your show.
Oh, thank you so much. And I want to start by saying that I discovered your work in 2006, and ever since then, I really dreamt of having a painting on my own, and that dream came true when I turned 30. I received two paintings or prints of your paintings, one of them being Mother's Love, and the other one was the pyramids. And actually, that blue, rich, that beautiful blue color in those paintings have inspired my website, Wisdom from North. So I'm so grateful
Oh,
to you.
oh gosh, that's incredible because that's one of my favorite colors, and it's actually one of the hardest colors to depict on canvas. And through the whole
Wow.
history, it's been one of the most challenging colors for all artists to depict. And even
Wow.
for me, it was quite a challenge, but it's so mysterious. That's why it draws me to that blue color.
Yeah, it really spoke to me, and I would love to talk more about colors later on. But first, I'm thinking that we can go back so people who don't know you, we can start by, having them know about your background and how this all happened. Because how old are you now, actually?
I'm actually currently 18. Uh,
Okay.
yes.
So you started something magical, I would say, happened when you were 4 years old. Can we start there?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's, well, quite a long time ago. I grew up in a family who did not share any kind of spiritual beliefs, and kind of grew up in an area where my whole family were supportive. But at the age of 3.5, 4 years old, I started seeing images and snapshots of pictures. And it was really mysterious to me because I didn't have any introduction of any kind of movies, radio, television, books. I didn't have any kind of references to have those snapshots and those visions and those moving pictures. And then it started becoming more complicated. It started showing different scenarios and different stars, galaxies, faces. And it became so interesting to me that I decided the best way to comprehend them was to draw them and maybe decipher the riddles. And as I was drawing them, my mom, she started seeing and noticing that I was drawing on the walls and on the tables, and
Wow.
she saw all these shapes and colors and faces that she decided to give me a room and give me all the materials that I needed to continue my work. She saw something in me and decided to nurture that talent, being a
Right.
supportive mother. So she inspired me to keep on going. And at the age of 6, I decided to go into the world of colors.
Mhm.
And at 7, I decided to interpret the visions that I couldn't interpret with colors through words. So I decided to use poetry as a different source of information.
Okay.
And at the age of 8, I created the first image that it's called Prince of Peace, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
actually one of my most favorite painting that I've ever created because it depicted the eyes and the face that inspired who I am, and it'll be on my website. But from that point on, some people noticed my work and invited me on the Oprah Winfrey Show.
Yeah.
And from the Oprah Winfrey Show, I think my whole life just opened up into new pages. And from there, I published 2 books, and I donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to charities, and I traveled all around the world to discover and learn new cultures and meet new people, and now I'm deciding to maybe my whole life is gonna be opened up to a new school, a new academy for children. So that's what I'm working on right now currently.
Wow, how exciting. I need to go back to when you were young, because I'm very curious about these visions. And I assume, a lot of people want or dream of having some sort of contact, with God or spirituality. And I'm so curious, how did you experience it? Did you go out of your body, or did you see it, or did it happen in a dream? Like, if you can tell me.
This was this is going to be very difficult to explain how it happened. It was so long ago. Sometimes it's in broken pieces. Sometimes it's just images that just pop up while like I clean my room, and I'll just see an image just come to my head. But sometimes it actually physically happens. For example, when I was 5.5 years old, I was in my room, and suddenly I sort of blacked out. My physical body just turned, like, my eyes turned black because I don't have any viewing of my physical eyes. So the last thing I remember is my body parting from above, and for some reason my soul started lifting up higher and higher, and I started splitting into thousands of pieces, going to thousands of doors. And meanwhile, it turns out that I was missing for 7-8 hours, and my mom and dad, they called the police and the police dogs, and there were at least 12 to 15 men that were searching all the house and the property, and the whole neighborhood. No one could find me.
Wow.
And it was in the newspaper, and it was a traumatic experience for my parents, but I didn't have any realization what happened. All I remember is my body being going into different doors for different experiences and lives. And after my whole experience, I don't know how, but I came into the hallway of my house, walking up to my mom, and I remember being so exhausted of all the lives that I've been living. And my mom is crying, and it was really an emotional experience. And from that point on, I think my whole family started seeing the world differently. And it was definitely a different chapter point of my life that shaped who I am.
Wow, I really appreciate that story. I haven't read that anywhere. So thank you for telling that. And I just had an interview with Dr. Eben Alexander III, who is a neurosurgeon who had a near-death experience. And it's so amazing to hear those stories. And he came back with a lot of wisdom. And it seems like you are constantly kind of teaching other people about another realm. And so do you feel like it's a purpose that you have and that you've been told to do this, or that you feel that this is your purpose in life?
Yes, in a way it is, but also it is definitely a learning experience for me as a person. I know it is a mission for me to teach people and to show people, but it's also it's a better understanding of who I am and who we are as humankind, and what exactly the whole meaning of life really is and the purpose of it. And as far as I remember, through my experiences, I had this message come to me saying that through my all my images and all the paintings that I have completed, there are puzzles and riddles in each one of them.
Ah.
That if a person understands all of them, they will understand the meaning of the life is. Even when I look back in my work, I am trying to decipher what the message really is. So it's definitely a challenge for me as a person, but I'm very glad that I have something that I could show to people to give them hope and inspiration.
Yeah, because that was one of my questions. You have painted the universe several times, and I was wondering if you understand what you paint.
Yes, as you can understand, even it's hard to actually to understand that the artists don't realize what they have done. But it's even though it's a lot of work, when you look back, there are still things that you forget that you've put in.
Oh, right.
That it's like I said, it's a learning experience for me as an artist too as well.
Yeah, and let's talk about those paintings that I have. It's Mother's Love and it's the pyramids, and they really spoke to me because of that color, that blue color, and because of the pyramids. I'm very fascinated by the pyramids, and I'm wondering if you know how that came to you, because the pyramids are standing in water.
Yeah, from the day I finished, people start asking me questions about that painting, and there are. This is a particular painting that I left unanswered because I do know the answer to the painting, but this is more of a personal preference of the description. Many people think it's the flooding of the earth, and some people think the ocean represents my name, because my name means ocean in Russian.
Oh.
And many people think it's the pyramids from the Pharaoh time and the ancient times. And the thing is, I left this painting unstoried because I wanted people to find their own personal description to this.
Yeah, well, it's giving me a lot. So, what about the colors? I've read somewhere that you see, or in other dimensions that you go to or see into, that you see even richer colors that you have seen here on Earth. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, actually, one of the paintings that was a very, very challenging for me was called the Supreme Sanctuary, and I've completed that when I was 12 years old, and the time came when I had this vision, this dream. The colors were so different that just imagine to a 12-year-old girl, to paint those colors that don't even exist. Because it has that feeling, that touch, that smell to it that doesn't even have a color to it.
Wow.
It was very, very hard, and there were some days where my mom came into the studio while I was just sitting on the ground looking at the painting and so confused of how to portray this, and I'm tired. It was like 11 o'clock at night, working 12 hours a day. It was a challenge for me to paint that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the colors to me is so special. It has so many different meanings, and I think that every day I see colors mixing and portraying life, and I guess that's how it goes in through my eyes every day.
Wow, beautiful. This must have really transformed your whole family as well.
Yes, yes, and it does. I think it brought us closer together, but it didn't change us who we are. I think my family are just beautiful, just the way they are, and I think we share a common quest for the uniting people, and quest for bringing the world together with harmony and love. And I think that brought us together as a family too.
Yeah, because they are really supporting you, it seems like, and it's a family business now, and they're supporting you so you can paint, and they're taking care of other things. And I know that you're giving a lot to charity, and you're starting maybe up a school in a short time, and we'll talk more about that. But I read as well that you had a special relationship to your grandmother. I just saw it today. I read about that, and I thought that was so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Oh, thank you. And my actually not too long ago, actually a couple of weeks ago, my grandmother just passed,
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
it was quite emotional, and it was my first time seeing her in 17 years, and it was in
Wow.
Lithuania, so that was very, very special. And
Wow.
when I was a child, actually, it was before I even met my grandmother. I painted her,
Yeah, I know.
and it was very emotional to my mother too.
Yeah.
But yes, I think I think I treasure my family so much. I think that's the greatest thing that I could have.
Yeah, and you wrote that she told you to believe in God and tell people about that. And
Yes,
yeah, that's
she
what you've done.
inspired me.
So let's talk about that beautiful painting, that Prince of Peace, because there's a fascinating story there. Because my mother actually read a book that's called Heaven is for Real, and it's about a little boy called Colton Burpo, who claims that during an operation he left his body and traveled to heaven and sat on the lap of Jesus. And when his parents and people asked him, like, how did Jesus look like, he couldn't tell them. He couldn't explain because he didn't find anybody who assembled, the face of Jesus. And then he saw your painting, the Prince of Peace, and he said, "That's Jesus."
Yes, that was, to me, hearing those stories make me a better artist. And it was my first time meeting actually Colton. I think a couple months ago on Katie's show, and when I saw him, I just knew we just had some sort of connection. But
Yeah.
just hearing those stories is so incredible, especially to an artist.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's kind of good to hear for us as well, because I mean, there's no doubt that we see that something is going on here, something much more grand than we can understand, you know?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's so much complicated than we think it is.
Yeah. So, what about those poems? How do you or how do they come to you? And is that a separate thing, or is it kind of does it correlate with the painting?
It both correlates to the painting, and both is almost completely opposite to the painting.
Okay.
When I was at 7 years old, I was looking at my paintings, and I just wanted some sort of description, but in such a way that makes more sense, makes more meaning to it. So I decided to close my eyes, and then it just happened. It just happened all of a sudden that I see words flying through my head, and I just started to pick words and put them together. And that's how poetry came about, and slowly I developed it into sentences, and then paragraphs, and then books.
Wow.
And even now, when I look at a painting and I cannot find any kind of description, I cannot think of anything because it's too powerful, or just it was lacking something. I go to actually my poetry, and I read over some hundreds of pages of poetry. And most of the time, it would be meant to be, and I would find a poem that'd be perfect for the painting, and it just happens unconsciously. And I think it both helps the painting and makes it a lot more comprehensible.
Yeah. Do you actually paint every day?
I do actually. Yes, I do. And I think if I don't paint, I feel very physically exhausted and
Oh,
physically and mentally disabled. Like I cannot think. I cannot do anything unless I paint. It's
wow, that's interesting. So, are you inspired every day?
hard every day. It's like inspiration comes to me when I least expect it. It just waits for me. And for me, when I go to my easel, I know I will always find something to do. It's like waiting for me. I don't have to wait for the inspiration. It's always there.
Wow.
Even if I make mistakes, I know it's part of the process, and I think I accept them, the mistakes, and make them into a positive thing.
Right. Did something happen to your connection because it got a little bit worse right now? Can you hear me?
Oh,
Uh,
sorry, probably it's the microphone.
oh, okay. I can hear you now.
Oh,
Good.
brilliant. Brilliant.
Okay, so it's kind of you go and you paint every day, and but do you get time to do other things than work?
Oh, yes, I always can make time because I decide to wake up early and so I could spend time with the family and teach and write and play my music. That's why I wake up at 4 to get
Wow.
everything completed in the morning.
Okay. So, what do you think you will do with in the future? I mean, will you always paint? Or I know that you mentioned a school. I'm very curious.
Yes, I've always had this concept since I was 8 years old. I wanted to give that opportunity to children that they didn't have. So
Okay.
that's what I decided. It takes time for me to put things together, put practical things together, to find the people, to find the premises, and the teachers, and it's going to be a long process, but we are somewhat 50% done. So
Wow.
it's gonna be completed within the couple years. But yes, and that's I think that's probably my main goal right now. But painting will always be in my life, and I don't think I could stop. It's like drinking water. You can't.
Wow.
Without water, you will not be here. It's
Yeah.
something that's always going to be a part of me.
Yeah. So I'm more curious. Is this an art school? Because I know that you didn't go to school yourself, or you started going to school, but then you the painting took too much time.
Yes, yes. I went in and out of school for quite some time, but not very long. But I decided to do this academy. Yes, I will. The majority will be of arts,
Mm.
arts, dancing, singing, creating music, and sculpting. And but the first we're just gonna build on the actual painting. We're just gonna have that as a main um, medium, and then we'll combine many other artistic performances and creative elements to it.
How wonderful! That sounds so beautiful. I think it's so important that people express themselves through art, even though they're not the biggest artist. I think we all have some talent within us that can be expressed, and that we
Oh,
need more
absolutely.
art.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that art of all kinds will bring everybody closer together because we'll have that bond that cannot be broken, like a family. We'll be
Yeah.
like all family.
Yeah. So, what is your main message in your pictures, if you have a main message?
The main message is actually two things. The first thing that the reason why I paint is to give people some sort of hope. an inspiration to their everyday lives. It could be something of a personal message, a uplifting message, or something that will just answer a question. I'm hoping as an artist I could bring that. And also the reason why I wanted to paint is to unite people of all ages, of all kinds, of all backgrounds, to just represent that we're not that different after all. We're all humans, and we're all one. And I think that's one of the main reasons why.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you so much, Akiane, and I wish you all the best with your work and with the school. And I hope maybe one day I'll get to meet you in person. Who knows? I dreamt about this interview, so maybe that will happen as well. We never know.
Oh, that's brilliant because I've always wanted to visit Norway, so
Oh,
it's gonna be probably this year. I'm like really excited.
oh, really? Oh my God, that is great news. Well, then I hope you will contact me if you ever get to Norway.
Oh, I will.
Thank you so much, Akiane.
Oh, thank you. It's been an honor, and I hope we can meet one day in person.
I hope so as well. And thank you so much for listening, guys, and keep checking out my website. I put out new interviews all the time. Now, much light here from Norway and from the US. Goodbye.